A coalition of reproductive and civil rights groups have launched an effort to advance an amendment that would enshrine abortion rights in the Arizona Constitution. The coalition, led by the American Civil Liberties of Arizona, Planned Parenthood Advocates of Arizona, and others, seek to place the constitutional amendment on the November 2024 ballot. For more on this, we welcome Chris Love. She is chair of Planned Parenthood Advocates of Arizona. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me, please, what the language would include. It's still being looked at, correct?
We're in the 30-day Legislative Council review period, but essentially our proposed language establishes a constitutional right to abortion, and it provides some guidance to the courts when deciding the constitutionality of any laws that limit that right. At a time where we have a pretty anti-abortion extremist legislature, we feel that this is the best way to protect and expand the right to abortion, and it represents a first step in protecting reproductive freedom for all Arizonans.
So the language is meant to ensure every individual has a fundamental right to an abortion. Does it take into account at all language regarding fetal viability?
Yes. So the constitutional right is up to fetal viability, and thereafter we look at the health and the physical and mental health of the pregnant person and the good faith judgment of their medical provider to determine whether or not post-viability abortion is an option for them.
And so for those who aren't aware, when we talk about viability, in medicine it means when a fetus would be able to survive outside the womb. And there's no universal consensus. It's anywhere from 22 to 24 weeks. In most cases, people agree on that. 24 weeks is what it was before last year when Governor Doug Ducey signed a law restricting abortion after 15 weeks. So how did you come up with the 24 as a number? Is it just because that's what was in place, or what sort of discussions were made behind the scenes?
Well, I've got to tell you that we don't find it helpful to talk about viability in terms of weeks, right? I want to challenge the idea that viability is some bright line standard. It isn't, and we know that each pregnancy is different, so viability is kind of a moving target, right? So when we were determining the language, we stayed away from the weeks discussion and really talked about putting those decisions back in the hands of pregnant people and their healthcare providers.
So when the leaked draft of the Supreme Court ruling in Roe v. Wade was leaked last year, there was an effort, to sort of a scramble to try to get something on the ballot for the November midterm election. What's different this time around?
Well, I think we have the benefit of a lot of time, right? I'm really excited that Arizonans for Reproductive Freedom put something together so quickly last year to capitalize on the excitement and kind of the anger around the Dobbs decision. However, they had about 8 weeks from start to finish to, get their language out and then collect all of the signatures needed to make the ballot. They weren't successful because of a lack of time. And so we started planning this around 10 months ago, around the November elections, knowing that we needed to do something for 2024. At that point, all of our groups got together. We hired a consultant to really talk to and have one-on-one conversations with folks that we feel are reproductive stakeholders. We got a group of attorneys and policy folks together to craft language. We hired polling and research folks, and now we have the language that we filed last Tuesday.
You need close to 400,000 signatures by July 4th, so that sounds daunting because I don't have to go out and collect 400,000 signatures, mind you, but is that doable? I mean, what are you going to have to do in order to reach that?
Let the blood of my firstborn. I don't know, but aside from that, we have put together a team of volunteers, and we've gotten a lot of excitement since our announcement on Tuesday. But we're also putting together a paid canvassing program. So we're going to do a combination of volunteer power plus paid power to get those signatures. And of course, we're going to try to get above and beyond that 400,000 plus because those signatures need to be, actually verified.
In the past, we've seen sometimes competing amendments on ballots. When word gets out on one thing, people who don't like that will come up with their own. Sometimes it confuses voters, and sometimes voters make a clear distinction on their preference. What do you expect this time? And then Do you have plans for that?
You know, I think that we've planned for every scenario, right? I think we've seen that, the legislature doesn't seem to be really keen on, protecting abortion, right? So we may see that something come out of a referral process in the legislature. We may see something from our anti-abortion folks here in the state. But, we plan to have a successful well-financed campaign, and we're ready to go to 2024. We've got the people, power, and money to be successful.
Chris Love, thank you very much. Planned Parenthood Advocates of Arizona, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.